There they are, hanging out, having a great rest day together, but now it's back to business. Round 8 of the Candidates Chess Tournament, searching for the challenger to Gukesh D, reigning world champion, and we're into the second leg of the tournament. So now when Hikaru kicks off against Fabi, he's got the white pieces. He opens with the explosive English. Can he get himself back into the tournament here? Well, this is Fabi. Yes, he's probably happy with a draw, but he's potentially going to even push for the win. Now, Hikaru thrusts with d4. No d3 business, kind of slow system-y stuff today. He wants a full-blooded, open game, and after pawn e6, these are some of the main moves. But Hikaru goes for a cheeky little bishop on f4. It's a bit more unusual, taking it down a less trodden path. d5 now from Fabi, captures, and we see knight takes back, which of course hits the bishop. So this one's flicked in, hitting the queen, compromising the pawn structure now. The bishop backs up here. White's still a smidge better pawn structure, but Fabi wants to change that. He streams out. Queen a4 puts some pressure here and here, and a5 is the response. So it just bolsters the bishop, offers the pawn, but it's not taken. Without going down the lines, black can block, queen has to drop off, then the rook picks up a tempo as well. Black starts getting lots and lots of initiative moves. Okay, they're booked up. A pawn's still a pawn, but Fabi knows what he's doing to get the counterplay. Hikaru wants none of it. He thrusts through the centre of the board here, and he forces this takes move. Pawn recaptures, bishop backing up. They've both got a compromised structure now. Still we don't see takes. Still Hikaru doesn't want to give the initiative. He instead goes for development. Castles. Still the pawn is offered. I mean, the pawn grabber in me is itching, right? I've been watching Yasser Serwan all these years, but Hikaru not interested. He just bounces back to f4 with the bishop. Takes control of this file. Now bishop a6. Makes it impossible to castle, so takes, and rook d1's now played, choosing this open file, queen activating, castles, queen b5 here, offers an exchange, and obviously Hikaru doesn't want to go for this. He wants to keep those queens on, not repair the pawn structure here, and play for pressure, bishop c5. The explosive c4's on the board, it backs up the queen. It's all looking very, very level, to be honest with you. Not much imbalance to speak of, but watch this. We get the usually stinky f6, bishop d6. These ones now all going into the blender, but there's a smidge of pressure for Hikaru. He wants to try and bring the pressure in this double rook endgame, even wins a pawn, but Fabi's of course seen this, and he goes for the activation. Not only hitting this pawn, and then he's got an outside runner, but he possibly wants the double one day. Rook a b6 is played. Rook a7 now on the board, going for this one. So this one's gobbled. Defends it. That's material back level. Pawn h3 gives some luft. And now, Fabiano Caruana makes a big blunder in this endgame. The move he should play is rook a to b2. And the idea is that after this one tries to activate somewhere, you swap it off the board. This should then be a drawn endgame, something like this, and that's all she wrote. But this wasn't played. Really simple draw actually at this level of chess. Fabi plays the way more ambitious move. Pawn h5. It gives that king some luft. It allows the activation of the rook because Fabi can activate in response. But Hikaru's activation is way more deadly because Fabi picks up this pawn, but Hikaru picks up this pawn. Pawn. It's a double rook endgame. So tricky to play. By the way, if you want to learn these kind of crazy endgames, rook endgames, bishop endgames, all the rest of it, use Lotus Chess. The link is down below. Yes, they now do endgames. logically laid out, finally learn those positions, Lucena, 6th rank defense, opposite colored bishops, pawn structures. It's incredible. Check it out below. But Fabi goes wrong in this one. King g8's played. Check once more. King h8 and rook g6. And this is the problem for Fabi. Hikaru's rook is defending and attacking at the same time. The pawns for black, that little bit more loose and split. So rook f4 was tried. Takes. Now if you go for rook takes pawn here, then this is actually good for white. Not taking here, but going either rook f5 or rook g5, hits a couple of points. Let's say you go something like this. This is the top engine line. Now you pick up the pawn. This one saves itself, but you get some lines like this where the black king is in big trouble, as well as white having the faster passer, the more active rook. This is big trouble. Something along these lines. Pawn's soon going to run. Let's pause it there. It's white that's in command. White that should be winning this endgame. This wasn't played. We didn't see rook takes on e4. This was selected. Rook takes, king g7 marching in. This one munched. And the big problem Fabi's now got is that even when they start exchanging prisoners, Hikaru is now 2 ahead. Let's see how things proceeded. He goes for this endgame with e and h, trusting his instincts that this is winning. Can he do it? Can he finish it off? He was technically winning against Wei Yi the other day in a rook endgame, double rook endgame. Made a mess of it. Wasn't so simple, but didn't get the job done. This looks more in control though. You can't take the rooks off, by the way. The king and pawn endgame's lost. This one gets round too fast. Sees it. A 15-minute think or something that Fabi threw in the towel. This is huge for the standings. Remember, Fabi's chasing Sindarov. How did Sindarov do? Well, let's go there next. He was playing against Andrei Esipenko. He had the black pieces. It was all very rock solid and steady. But no bishop e7, the usual move. Or d takes on c4. We got this. Bit more unusual. And after this king safety fist bump, very beautiful to see. Pawn d4, we get some knight c6 action. It has been seen before. We're in a more unusual position here. Knight there, bishop on d6. Not the normal Catalan stuff, but it's absolutely fine for black. Now we see pawn a5. I mean, it's one of those boss modern moves. If in doubt, push the rook's pawn. It marches all the way down here. This bishop tucks in, and now we get the bishop activating to b4. No clue why Sindarov decides this is the moment to do it. I guess he never wants to play for e5 because of the pressure on d5. So instead he goes for this. Chops off a knight, gives up the bishops. He's left with this awful piece right now. Takes on b3, queen recaptures, and now he sidelines the pony. I mean, he really is well prepared. You have to be to play like this. To push a rook pawn. To leave this one undeveloped. To sideline your knight. To give up the bishop pair voluntarily. This is some wild modern chess, but as usual, Sindarov really knows what he's doing. He's tiptoeing this fine line with magician-like precision. He even gives up a pawn now, understanding this position here, that he's got enough pressure against the white king to compensate for the pawn. Bam, he pushes with h5. He is so well prepared, this guy. Queen e5's therefore played, going for an exchange of the queens. Sindarov says no. It's insisted upon. Queen d5, and you won't believe it. Andrei Esipenko, a pawn ahead, just takes us into a repetition. The big problem is this bishop. There's a ton of pressure going to come on this pawn. Can't draw this arrow today, can I? And this guy's really terrible. In a lot of lines, d5 comes at a certain point, giving up a pawn just to activate the bishop back. So okay, simply a repetition was agreed 24 moves, very unambitious chess from Esipenko, but that's how it goes. Next up was Wei Yi versus Bluebaum. What are we going to see here? Well, knight c3. Wei Yi does not fancy facing the Petrov, the Russian defense. Very solid, very boring. He plays it himself. He instead goes for a Vienna game, and he does get some pressure out of the opening here. Knight f3. The break in the centre's played. Captures, knight takes back. Castles, offers a piece and a pawn, but only the first is taken. If you go and capture like this, then queen e1 is strong. Hit this, win your stuff back. There's different ways to go. Even if you tried starting, you do this, and you can actually give an entire rook because the attack is too deadly. Bishop a3, queen h5 stuff. You cannot take that rook in the corner. So we didn't see this one captured twice, just once. Bishop g4 is very annoying because of course this knight wants to activate, but this central clump of pawns does a good job of controlling pawn pushes. Knight jumps. So white's holding on okay. Castles, standing a bit better even. Now we see the bishop voluntarily back up, never running into this stuff. a4, because obviously bro. King h8, pawn a5's really on the march now. And this is one of the most mysterious rook moves I've seen in a while. Rook b8. Wei Yi is officially freaked out. He said no way will he be, but he is. a6 could have been played. Now we see this bishop b5 move. And after this knight backs up to support the other, we get this absolutely overpowered rook to a4, rook lift. Wei Yi's flexing at the board. He wants some absolute aggression. This queen centralizes. Bishop now backs up. Queen d6. Bishop c1. We see where it's headed. And if Bluebaum wants a really double-edged fight, he can play for pawn f5 here and let the fireworks flow. But true to his style this tournament, he plays pawn f6, more of a solid structure, giving that bishop a retreat home. Not the best, by the way. White definitely stands a bit better now. Queen backing up, bishop b3, apparently best. This one's selected though, creating the pin, rook fd8, and here we go baby. An overpowered whoosh of a rook swing, pressuring that black king now, and this is why the bishop backs up to f7. You don't want to be blundering pieces. This is actually on the way, hitting the knight, headed for f4, and that's why we see the best move played. Bishop takes on e7. Yes, it gives up the bishops, but okay, you're going to be maybe struggling against this structure. The knight can't recapture, and so you've stopped this whole plan. Now we see d4, the second point to the move. Pressure down the e-file. Bishop bounces to g6. a6 of course. Desperate to win this knight. Queen reactivating. Bishop d3. That's actually a threat to win a piece. Don't sleep on that one. So takes was played. Queen recaptures. Just look all over the room. Up to the ceiling. Left, right and centre. Maybe your opponent will blunder checkmate. It's seen today. Alas for Wei Yi, he tried his best. He takes on b7. He's really trying to break down these light squares. What an aggressive move this is. I mean, Andrea's spinning those beats. It's hyper aggressive, attacking chess. However, this kind of just serves as a party pooper, a sprinkler on the flames. You can't play g5 anymore, which makes this one pretty risky. Rook h5, queen d7 immediately targets it. So h3 is played. So much tension in the centre here, by the way, just unreleased. Now we see the queen pressure the rook. Stop g5, of course, and so this one centralizes. Reminds black that they have a loose knight. Queen d5 from Bluebaum. He's desperate to shut down these antics, but Wei Yi backs up, and watch this. just at this moment, he plays the explosive c4. And of course the queen can't take either pawn. They're nicely covered, so she has to back up. Surely we now play d5. Looks amazing. Well, actually black's okay. You can back up like this, go on some kind of circuit once you've dealt with white's threats, and bring the knight into here. And you're doing okay. It's about level. So although this looks really juicy, it's not actually a killer. Queen e4 was therefore selected, a better move. You can never take, because knight takes, pawn takes, and there's pins down here. So instead we see queen takes on c4. Why has Wei Yi sacrificed an entire pawn? Well, you're about to see him unleash a brilliancy on the board. Rook takes on h6. Would you look at that? Classic sacrifice, ripping open the king. 3 pawns for the rook there, but there's a problem. Although you can march in with the cavalry, you're not actually threatening to mate. There's a lot of pieces still in the defense here. Now we see queen g6 check, king sidestepping, loads more checks. Eventually the king runs into the open and drops a pawn on the e-file. This really does look terminal, but after king d8, you're not actually as dead as you look. Check, yes, but amazingly, the king survives on d7. I mean, this queen doing a critical defensive job. So's the knight, so's the rook in a number of ways. And white's just got nothing better than to repeat the position. So this is how it went. Excuse me. In this position here, they made the threefold. That was the draw. Let me get a sip of water.
A few moments later.
Sorry about that. Not used to these longer recaps. Usually only do the one game, but we got to go in on all 4 in the candidates tournament. This was my absolute favourite of the day. Giri playing white, looking for revenge on Pragg, who beat him with white first round of the tournament. He goes with this classic Queen's Gambit declined stuff, knight c3. However, Pragg munches on c4. We're now back in Queen's Gambit accepted territory. Giri takes the full-blooded centre. Now b5 looks after the pawn. If you take immediately, well, you lose here. So this is the theoretical move, knight d5. Now the pawn is won. This knight backs up and covers the c-pawn, and so the bishop calmly develops to e2. Is g3 and bishop here a line? Probably not. Probably terrible. Let's have a look. No, it's not. There you go. I've just invented a novelty, which is probably a terrible one. This is the game. Bishop e7. Both players go for a little castle action, and a4 looks to dislodge that knight, then pick up the pawn. So bishop a6 is played. You can't push. You lose a pony. It backs off to a3. You can see where it's headed. c5's in response. You know, you have to do something quick in the center now. This one comes anyway. Knight recentralizing, and we get these ones heading into the blender, but not the usual bishop takes. Pressure now down here. It's a loose rook. It's an undefended rook. Pragg's got it well worked out though. After knight c2, covering the rook, hitting the queen, she backs off to b6, and then we don't see the standard move, exchanging the bishops, but excellent move, which changes the pawn structure. Bishop takes on d5. Now you open up this threat, but you also open up this threat. So black has to take. Now we get Chewbacca's favourite move, the Wookiee one. e6 could be on the cards one day. The bishop backs off to b7. It is one of the best moves. Bishop g5. You're about to see something absolutely masterful. Knight takes, pawn h6, and now this move is flicked in. And what we soon see is that this one rotates around to the center. We get an exchange here, and it's white standing with the dominant minor piece over the bishop. This is an absolutely masterful game so far from Giri. He hits the queen. He now looks after the pawn. Love this piece. I mean, it truly is an octopus on the fourth. Bishop d7. And of course, what else does it support but the rumbling of the pawns here? Here goes the f-pawn. What a chess lion Giri is. Prague desperately tries to break them up. Rook e1 supports. Now rook e8, rook e2. Simple, calm, doubling of the rooks, supporting the pawn. King needs to get out of the way in the minute. First we see these ones liquidated. And now the best move is bishop b7. You really have to play it here. It is not played. Queen f7 is selected. And why is it so bad? It shouldn't be that bad, should it? Well, e6 is now on the board. Nothing was done to prevent it. Queen g6, rook f2, Giri masterfully switching the play. This one's now just firing into thin air, which is no good. The rook lifts. I mean, everything about this game is just a harmony. Prague doesn't help the situation. This is to stop rook g4, we presume. But regardless, the way Giri just finished this one off here, the bishop rotates around, blocks out this rook, but we now get check. King h7, rook takes, queen takes, and a brilliant move to finish the game. You could do queen f8, by the way. It's the top move. But Giri goes for something way more swashbuckling. All the style points. Rook takes on e4. Another brilliancy this day. Pawn recaptures and check. Finished the game on the spot. If you step up the board, which I never looked at, there's queen f4. Oh no, queen e6 check. That's cleaner because you're winning a rook now. And if you step back, then there's queen f8 check and you're winning the queen or making a queen. And if you play king g8 check, then it's the same problems with the loose rook. And this ends the game on the spot. Really, really delightful game there from Anish Giri. Positional dominance. There's your wrap up. And here's the standings. Yavakir still 2 points ahead. Fabi chasing. Giri chasing. And then a few back on 3.5 right. Very difficult to see those guys making a charge. You never know, but people have to start beating Sindarov, of course. Hope you enjoyed this one. Do have a look at the video on screen if you want to see some more epic chess. And don't forget to check out Lotus Chess down below. Easter sale on right now. It's truly fantastic. And I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.